Hang on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so welcome to July's Tech Talk, where we have Colin Needham discussing print through the digital age. So if everybody's ready, and Colin, you ready?
Yeah, yeah,
Crack on.
yeah. So for some strange reason, I volunteered to do this after doing one a few months ago. I don't know why. It was just like it happened, and I thought it'd be a good idea to show you. Everyone's talking about AI and digital and everything else. Look, let's go back a bit and let's look at print. And so the first part of this is a bit of a history tour on my starting working with print, and that goes back about 43 years, and then goes into the printing company we're using at the moment, who trade printers, and we use them for 90, probably about 95% of what we do. So anyway, print in the digital age, how the print industry has adapted to change. So for me, this is where it all started when I was at art college. Um, we didn't really have computers back then, and they'd only just invented the wheel actually. But my introduction to typography was actually lead type, so letterpress type, and we used to hand flog. It's called hand flogging. We used to create these blocks of type. They would then be inked up and printed, called a galley press. So that was my first introduction to type. And when you got your galley press, you use this lovely stuff, cow gum, to paste it up. It smelled horrible, was very sticky, and you had to save bits of it to create what was called a cow gum rubber, which you could then take excess off with. And if the print wasn't particularly good, that rubber would actually pull the print off as well. So it was a double-edged sword. Later on, spray mount came along, which was probably very bad for you. You could get spray booths, but most studios were too tight to buy those. So it was just expelled into the atmosphere and you had to breathe it all in. Good stuff. But when I was at college, they did invest in one of these, and it's, as you can see, it's a modern piece of kit, uh, which was a photo typesetter. And these used to create the type you wanted on either paper or film. State of the art technology back then, and it did away with the nasty side effects of lead poisoning, basically, which I always thought was a bad thing when they having students playing about with lead. But there you go. So after I finished college, I got my first job, which was in a machine tool company. My training was in technical graphics. I was a technical illustrator. My first job, we had an in-house print department, and this was our printer, the Gestetner, single color, but we ran it for two colors, and fairly good machine actually. It kept things fairly accurate, and I was in charge of the print guy as well in my job. And this is what we used to produce, these user manuals. I used to illustrate the things. We had a cut-out window cover that gave us different countries, because different countries have voltage differences, etc. So we ran the black print, and then the red was done as a second run. And registration wasn't bad, but you didn't get bits where they were coming off. All these numbers were done with Letraset. It was a nightmare. Hated that job. But yeah, that's where we were then. And towards the end of that job, sort of 1985 era, desktop publishing came in, and it was really exciting. It rapidly deployed across newspapers and the creative industries. I didn't start using it until I left that job, and my first venture into it was on PCs. But what we quickly found out was that there was a font mismatch on PCs to the output machine, to the created film. And the job for Ford New Holland had all the wrong characters in it. So it cost us a lot of money, and we quickly moved over to Apple computers because it was a much more resilient way of working. That's how Apple made their mark in that industry. So after that job, I moved to Kef Audio about 1993, and it was I was part of the in-house marketing team running the in-house design department, and we used to outsource a lot of print, and there was more of it. We were advertising internationally, and this particular item was a DL sized full line catalogue. We did it every year. It was in 14 languages, and we printed 150,000 copies of this. The first run was 150,000 copies of the four colour work plus English text, and then we used to overprint the blacks for the different languages as they came in, proofread and everything else. Quite a big job. Lasted about 9 months a year, so we just about got the relief of getting over it, and then we started all again. In the end, we changed it from a DL size to A5. This was my last thing I did there, because the DL size was quite expensive to print. We saved about £25,000 by moving to A5 and using A5 envelopes. It was even cheaper because the postage didn't get affected that much. So that's what we did. And my next move was to Tag McLaren Audio, which is why I'm in Cambridgeshire now. And again, running the design department. And one of my responsibilities there was to cut the price of printing. This manual here on the right was the original set of manuals I had printed. The print run for the cover was 8 colours. The logo itself is the double hit colour called Rocket Red. And the cover folded out, this 8 colour cover folded out to about A3 size. It was massive. The actual booklet itself was CD size. So my task was to reduce the price. So in the end, we went with a cover with a cutout window, which, if you think about it, reflects back to my first job. And we bought the print in-house using laser printers, duplexing laser printers. We would then cut them in-house, bind them in-house, trim the ends, and that was the job. By the time we finished, the company closed in 2003. By the time we finished, there was still a warehouse full of the manuals on the right, which had cost a fortune. The ones on the left, which we were producing in-house, there was a cupboard of flat sheets, basically. That was it, a shelf on a cupboard. So it shows how little waste there was in what we were doing. So that's a brief look at where my introduction to print has been. I've been around the print industry for years, and it seemed important for us to move into print when we developed our own business after I left McLaren. So here's my experience now. We've moved through local printers. So this is the main event, basically, looking at the printer we use today. So say we've been through local printers like your Pronto Print. You may have been in these where they've got perhaps a Xerox laser printer, or laser printer that does booklet type things. They might have a small litho printer out the back, but they're fairly small. Even a small print shop won't have any massive amount of stuff that can use for different products and services. They tend to be a bit limited on the skills they have, and what I've found is a lot of them now are using the same sort of printers we are and charging considerably more than we would charge, which is not very good. Point of fact, we would charge 6 times the price it would cost me to buy something using the same printer by the people I was using. So this is who we use now. They're based up north. This is a satellite image. It's not exactly as it is now. Now it's pretty much covered in solar panels on both these factories. They've got 147,000 square feet of space. They employ 400 people. Smart workflow on every process they do. They dispatch over 8,500 jobs a week. So they've got a massive turnover of print throughout it. They're currently generating 1 million kilowatt hours of energy a year, which is 15% of their needs. And their goal is net zero by 2035. So I think they've got over 2,000 solar panels at the moment, but they intend to double that, treble it, and put wind turbines in as well. So they're generating enough to cover their whole process. So they're going to be a very green printer to use. And with them, we can go from business cards to banners to exhibition stands. It's the place we go for most of our stuff because we know the quality is good, the systems are good, and they will give us a good end result delivered quickly. I'm just having a quick mint to keep my voice going. So recently I've invested heavily in large format printing. 2 years ago we went there and they had very small amount of large format print. They've had a big investment in it as they saw it was a good way to move. They're not afraid to invest money in equipment for sure. So they've now got two of these large HP printers that will run out anything from a roller banner to a full wall color print, or even feather banners, that's feather flags, that kind of thing. And these are running all the time. And the thing that impressed me most when we went up a few months ago, when it comes off of those machines, big sheet, there's some dots on it with crosses. And this is a flatbed cutter. They lay the print on there. It scans where the dots are. It's already got the cutting guide put in. It then goes around and cuts it. Now, this might just be an outline, but while we were there, they were creating these corrugated box type display stands, and these had slots and holes and everything else. Cut the lot, just automatically done. Put a new sheet on, next one on. Amazing piece of kit. And there's two of them both doing different things while they're running. So then we'll move on to the sort of backbone of what they do, which is offset litho. As you can see, quite a lot of presses there. The process of lithography hasn't changed much over the years, but machines and methods have. Every job is calibrated throughout the process to ensure consistency and quality. Jobs are ganged up because they're having artwork supplied by all different designers and companies throughout the UK. Jobs are ganged up on a large SRA2 plate, massive plates. These are all produced in-house. They've got machines that run the plates, 4-color sets. They fold over the ends so they can be put on the drums of the printer. That's what you were talking about earlier, Ian. And they've got them up to a machine that will run 10 different colors in one process. So they've got several of these things. And people often think that the digital age has sort of killed print, but they're just about to invest over £3 million in 2 more of these Heidelberg presses. So they don't feel the print industry is dead. They're working non-stop all the time. It's a 24-hour-a-day process. That's on top of £1 million investment on printing labels, new setup for label printing. So they're constantly investing in their business. Then obviously digital print is a mainstay of what they do as well. Litho is for high quality, large runs. So if you've got thousands and thousands of prints, you don't want to run it through a digital press, you run it through a litho press because it will give you better quality, only marginally, but it will also give you the cost value on the run, so you can bring the prices down. But on the digital side, they've got many different types of machines. So basically, this particular one is set up to run business cards only. So it'll run those all day all long, 4-color business cards, large sheets. In fact, they're roll fed. So they're on a large roll, fed through, trimmed, and then trimmed down. They've now got a robotic machine that takes the last stage of it, trims the edges, packs it up, and boxes things up, all ready for delivery. Incredible bit of kit. Watching this thing move stuff around. Didn't get a picture of that, unfortunately. Some things we weren't allowed to photograph. This is another machine. Again, digital for short runs. As you can see, roll-fed paper through the machine. And you can gauge the size of these things by the people walking by. They are massive machines. And it goes beyond the quality of where digital print started with the old Xerox systems, which always left a kind of like a profile you could feel like braille on the paper. There's none of that. It's just completely flat as a normal print would be. This is another press. This one's used for direct marketing stuff, and it just runs all day. Again, roll fed through the different processes, comes out the other end for dispatch, and then probably their main setup for work that's general sort of thing we would send are the HP Indigo printers. Again, they're roll fed. Inks are constantly filled through tanks and the system of delivery. So there's no drop in production. It just runs completely all the time, unless they have to service, and there are service intervals on these things, and they kind of over stop one while the others are running, stop the next one, and this continually ongoing thing like that. And this is a cheeky peek if it's insides. It will run 8 colours. They tend to run them 4 colour only, but you can run specials through them as well. As you see, a stack of print there by the side. Obviously, all computer led, but certainly interesting bits of kit. Next thing is bridging the gap. So you've got litho, which is long runs. You've got digital, which is short runs. And this particular machine bridges the gap in between there. It's a digital machine. There's no plates involved. It runs a wet ink that's micro squirted onto the paper. Quality is almost indistinguishable from litho. The only time you really see a difference is when you look under a magnifying glass with these prints. So again, it's down to quantity and price. This fits in the middle. It's what's called a nanographic printing system. And yeah, it's very high tech. Looks like it belongs on the bridge of a starship. And deals with squirty ink. It's great. It's just like a big version of what you have on your desktop, basically, but in real massive terms. And now we're coming to the end of it. This is a very quick tour of what took us a day. Um, Basically, there's more to print. I've just showed you the print size and how that's changed with technology and in the digital age. But there's other machines involved. There's binding, laminating, cutting, folding, stitching, collating, and of course, moving stuff from A to B, where they've now employed robots to do that. So these little pallet trucks go around. You have to watch them going around because they will stop, but they don't like you to get in the way. And that's their way of moving paper and stock around the factory now. Again, saving time, saving energy, and making life a little bit easier. So print is not dead. It's just evolving to fill the needs of modern society. And we will continue to use that print shop because we know they're constantly investing in new things that can help our customers be seen in a better, more sophisticated way and give them more clarity, basically. And that's it, I'm afraid.
That's fab.
Stop
That's
sharing.
fab, Colin. I do think seeing all those HP printers gives me heart palpitations on the cost of ink, knowing how much it costs to fill a printer these days. They're so expensive, but it's quite surprising, isn't it, how sort of that first one you worked on looks like something out of a dentist's old
Yeah.
practice kind of thing. It looks so ancient and old, and
Okay. Yeah.
how they have
Mm.
sort of got bigger, got smaller, got more complex, got huge like they are there. And I've actually had I've had the privilege myself to go around two different print companies that we support as a client of Tech Care, and the machinery and how they work. I mean, I could fully appreciate what you've walked through for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
site. It's amazing. Steffi?
Yeah, that first machine that you showed with all those 8-inch floppy disks, I just thought that was quite amazing. And then secondly, I remember the big fight when Aldous PageMaker came out between Mac and PC because the fonts weren't working properly with the PostScript on the laser
Yeah.
printers, and
Yep.
it was just a massive hoo-ha, and that's why so many people went to Mac.
exactly. Yeah, it was
Mm.
because the filmmaking machines were run off mag. So when they were ripped, they worked. Without that, they didn't work. We
Yeah,
had
I
a
mean there are
character.
still issues as well
Yeah,
with Windows with different fonts and actually being able to print them. It's
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, well known or still a well known issue. But like you
Good
say,
old
that's why
true
everyone
type.
uses Macs, isn't it, for digital graphics, graphic design,
yeah,
and obviously Windows just more for your word processing. It's
yeah, yeah. Essentially, yeah.
until recently.
Yeah, I mean, you could get the software on PC, but I wouldn't change purely because I know I can trust and rely on what the outcome is.
Yeah,
Simple as
yeah,
that. So,
fantastic. Any questions for Colin?
I'm just glad I came. That was fascinating. I mean,
It
thank you.
was.
that's the size of that one machine. I mean, were those actually, because you said you took those pictures, were those all pictures you took? None of those are
None,
exaggerated because that guy is
no,
so small
yeah,
against that machine. It's
they are
amazing.
vast. They are vast. I mean, that
Yeah.
last one I showed, the Landor press, they've got two of those. They they fill a massive space and they have to be on a perfectly level floor. So the whole factory floor had to be leveled before they could drop this thing in.
Wow.
It's
That is
insane that.
They're
amazing.
made in
Yeah.
Israel. Israel, they're made. They're
There's the
It's
incredible
one
bits of kit.
downside about it.
Yeah, but they are incredible bits of kit, and the output is breathtaking. Really, they're hoping that eventually that technology overtakes uh, litho, but it's not there yet. So
I mean, looking at it, I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. So, something I didn't realize is how print is still massive. Because you sort
yeah,
of, I mean, I love books, but but for me, so that's lovely. Thanks for sharing.
no problem.
It's nice to see that it's changed because when you think of printing, you do, most people will just think of, printing your Word document off on your printer, which doesn't happen as much anymore. But the brochures that company use, there is still that the requirements changed, hasn't it? Is what you're basically saying, Colin. And we've
Yeah,
gone
yeah,
from just
essentially.
printing our Word documents and the odd brochure at home kind of thing to now you can mass produce. One of the printers that I was at recently did vehicle wrapping,
Yeah, yeah,
huge, huge machines. One of them was for Jaguar Land Rover I think for an advert, they did a load of
yeah,
Land Rovers, and just the actual size and what you can produce on printers like that is insane. And the quality, and you can
yeah,
watch it
yeah,
print, like you say, with the
yeah.
ink just going, you can stand it just almost like, when you're watching a fire, it gets a bit mesmerizing as you just watch it going backwards and forwards. Bethan, you got your hand up?
Yeah, that was interesting, Colin. But it reminded me. I have a picture here of an old printer because I have a family member that was the editor of the Newcastle Chronicle, and
Yeah.
that. And I remember phoning them up to arrange to go and see them, but to see their printers now and that. So. And I sent them a picture, and I'll see if I can find it and send it to you because
Yeah,
it's
that'd be good. Yeah,
fascinating. It's fascinating to see what you've got done, but obviously what it was like. There's quite a few here and that, so it was interesting to see
mm,
because it was massive picture and that,
yeah.
and it'd be interesting to find out what they use now, really.
If we were doing something where color is vital, like the Tad McLaren work, we would never use a printer like that for that sort of thing because we needed to go and pass things on press. So I'd always go along when the print started, go and check the output, make sure the contrast was right, the colors were right. One I did at Kef Audio was a 3 foot high dog called Dodger. It was for home theatre. And what I wasn't told when we prepped the final artwork was that Dodger was photographed on the green floor. All I got was a cut out of Dodger. He's photographed on his bright green floor. I didn't realize how green the floor was because his fur had kind of absorbed all the reflected light off of that. So this beige dog, the first run of the print came out green. So a cold December morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I was dragged off to London to this press. I'd stand there with them. and they kept running it through, reducing the cyan until we could take it no more. It was leaving blanks. We just pulled it up a little bit, and Dodger was no longer green. He was the proper colour.
It's good on the old technicals. Good on the technicals. Paul?
I'm just curious, that machine, the nano something,
Yeah,
is that
nanographic, yeah.
I mean, that's the tech on the ink there that you're referring to, or is it the way it is producing the print? I mean, has the ink changed or was improved?
The ink is a completely different ink system. Essentially, it's like an inkjet printer, but incredibly fine nanotechnology, basically.
Oh, wow.
The difference is digital. The digital Indio presses still transfer the toner to a drum, which is then transferred to the paper. Yeah, and that's like the way litho print transfers the ink to a plate, which is put onto a rubber mat, and then that transfers to the paper. So there's a transfer process. The nanographic print literally squirts the ink directly onto the paper surface. Nothing in between the two. There's no clean down, nothing.
Incredible.
Nice. It's impressive. It is impressive. It is interesting to see how far technology has come.
Yeah.
And obviously that's a massive amount of solar energy and what they're doing there. That's
the target is 8 million megawatt hours.
That's just that. I mean, that's great though, isn't it? To think that you can do that and be self-sufficient almost with your power. It's
No, they would be. They'd actually be selling back to the grid then.
See if they can get some. Are they
Freebies,
near any water? We could do with some. Maybe we could get some wind turbines or something to charge some water, so we can get more of that down here as well.
Rick,
oh, that's great.
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Rick?
Well, first of all, that's a fantastic talk. I remember around about 84 when Apple brought that advert out.
Yeah.
Some of the youngsters won't remember it, I know. And up until that point, Apple didn't do very much.
No.
And then it was the bringing together, because at that time when you printed something out of picture on a dot matrix printer, it looked crap. I think it was Adobe and Apple did something with some scientists from Adobe who got together, and this is when it took off. I've never been an Apple user, but I am impressed by what it can produce. And yeah, but it's more about your talk. It was brilliant. And again, around about 84, they were talking about in the future, there'll be no paper or anything. It'll be totally electronic. People like to touch things at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, printing
is a tactile thing.
It is, yeah.
I mean, when we went there 2 years ago, they'd bought a bookbinding company, and they had a half that large factory was bookbinding, and they were doing all sorts of things. They were incredible. None of that was on tour this time. I think they've moved that to another location now. But it just shows you how they're building, adapting, and growing what we can do for our clients, basically. And without having to worry about hunting around trying to find a printer that will do this, that, or something else, we know we can go there.
Yeah.
They could do everything. It looks like they could make the tea if you asked it to.
Well, they probably could, yeah. We couldn't actually use them for stickers before because they were stickers that didn't stick. They fell off. They were pointless. But they've now invested in new sticker tech, so they've got machines that are running these stickers. They do the 3D blob ones. They do custom laser cutouts of all stickers. And this isn't like, oh, we'll do that one and then it's slow. They go through at a rapid rate. Incredible to watch.
I mean, I love that printer you showed. Now I know what they produce. Because I wondered, if you buy a book of Amazon, you don't get it from a warehouse somewhere. They're printing it.
Yeah.
Because there's really, so that's, I mean, that machine is massive. So you can, it will just stick one book through, order it, goes through there, and you get it.
Yeah, you wouldn't order them by ones, but yeah.
Oh, it's pretty much on demand, isn't it?
Yeah.
There are places that will do one off on a book.
Oh, so that machine doesn't do one-offs or anything like
No,
that.
but nothing is below 25 on quantity.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because
There's a company called Lightning Source. I don't know whether they're around anymore, but they were the original Amazon one print
Oh, okay.
service. I don't know whether they're about anymore.
that's another business that started in a garage, like printers.
There's quite a few that started in a garage. Microsoft, Google,
Yeah.
to name another
Apple.
two.
Apple.
Oh, Apple, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple can stay in the garage for me because I'm not a fan of Apple. I do have an Apple phone for work, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan, and I've had to try and support Apple when I am mainly a PC user
Yeah.
because it was for for business, for college, for uni and stuff like that. It was just all PC. So when everyone started turning it over around to Apple, trying to switch your brain because nothing's obviously in the same place and it's all called something different. So you kind of
Yes.
have to work around it and see what you can find.
Not always easy, yeah.
Not always it, but music and graphics, absolutely brilliant for. Work, I'm not a fan, but no, that was brilliant. Really enjoyed that. So thank you very much, Colin. Did you want to stop the recording, Ian?